Passive income as a wealth creation strategy is bullshit. Let me tell you why. This video will break down what it is, what it isn't, and what it actually takes to make money. This isn't a hustle till you drive a Lambo type video, just a practical breakdown, some hints and tips, because more money means more freedom to do what you want with who you want. So first of all, what isn't passive income? It's definitely not making money online as some kind of side hustle. You know what I'm talking about. It's the courses, it's the selling digital products, it's drop shipping. None of those things are really passive income. Let's go through them. Course, digital product. Got a lot of work to do. You've got to make the product, you've got to film it, or you've got to write it, you've got to film it, you've got to upload it to some kind of course hosting website. You've got to then go market it. You've got to get people to sign up to it. And then you've got to constantly update it because as people do it, they're like, well, I read your course. I did your course on how to become a millionaire and I'm not a millionaire. So, whatever. That's like heaps of work that you have to do. It's not just a gimme, right? So it's not passive. Physical products like drop shipping, not really passive. You've got to find the product, find something that's marketable or trending. Then you've got to sell it. Then you've got to market it. You've got to put it out there. Like there's a lot of work that goes into that isn't really just passive income. And anything that's set and forget, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? If you've set something up and then you just expect it to make you money in perpetuity, it doesn't work that way. Some people will move on to the next thing or the better one. So what is real passive income? Well, it comes from shares in the form of dividends. It comes from real estate in the form of rental, or it comes from bonds in the form of your yield and your income, and high interest savings account in the form of interest. These are all things where you have money and you put it into this asset and it generates you a yield or your passive income. It doesn't come from work. It doesn't come from this business. It doesn't come from starting something online. It comes from having an asset that is making you a return on investment, and you get that asset through paying for it in some way. Now, the 5% rule is important because it's generally a rule of thumb. And I know people are going to go, oh, well, I can get real estate for 8 to 10% yield. Yep, absolutely true. There are deals out there. You can absolutely maximize yield for sure. Although, or the way that I look at the 5% rule is if someone comes along and says, hey, give me some money, I'll pay you 12%. You're like, okay, what's the catch? Well, the catch is you don't have security over whatever I'm investing in. It's also an unencumbered loan. It's an unsecured loan. So you're taking on more risk by giving them that money, and in return, you get a higher yield. So it's just a trade-off. Do you accept the higher yield for higher risk? Or do you accept the lower yield? Like in a high interest savings account, you might only get 3, 4, 5%, depending on what the prevailing interest rate is, but it's safer, right? It's not going anywhere. So you've just got to weigh up the safety, security versus the yield. It's how that works. Everything's a trade-off. Now, what do you actually need to get rich? So you need active income. Now, I always love watching these videos, and there's a number of them. There was some guy that stood up and asked Patrick Bet-David, what should I invest in? Should I invest in crypto? Should I invest in gold? Like, what should I invest in? And then PBD said, well, how much do you make? And he said, oh, I'm on 20 grand a year. He was like, brother, you need to earn some more money. That is not nearly enough money to be worrying about investments. You need to educate yourself and earn an income before you can even think about investing, because investing has a long time horizon. And the two variables for it is how much you put in and how long you wait. Now, if you do that for a short period of time, you're not going to have a great return. If you only put a small amount in, but for a long time, you're going to outperform. But you need to maximize the amount of money you're putting in. So realistically, you need active income. Now, that can look like a high-paying job or a business income. Start your own business is a way to accelerate that, because in any kind of job, you're limited by your time. You're limited by a salary, and it doesn't scale. You can't work 20 jobs at once, but you can scale a business. You can get more people to pay you more money for things you provide. So active income is super important. And then once you've got enough active income, if you save properly and you put money away, you can put that money into an asset that generates you passive income. And then that can buy you some freedom and security and safety in the future. Active income is absolutely no good though if you don't have good money habits. So watch this video on 5 money habits that will keep you poor.